one thing I don't understand is how I went to a Supercuts, which you guys, if you don't know, is a hairstylist place, and it's like a chain hairstylist place. I went to a Supercuts near me like 4 days ago. Got my hair cut. I did cut it shorter. It still looks like this. It's still poofy and up there. Don't understand how it's doing that. Don't want to know how it's doing that. Anyways, guys and girls, welcome to day 6 of the 12 days of anime. I'm happy to have you guys back. So today we're going to be looking at, well, obviously from the title, it's not anything surprise. We're going to be looking at two more lesser known mecha anime that exist out there. Now, mecha anime to me has been something I grew up with. It's near and dear to my heart. I've truly loved mecha anime probably since I was a kid. I mean, I've always looked for newer shows to watch. I grew up with stuff like Voltron, obviously, Gigantor. I watched Astro Boy. I started watching, the original Gundam when it came out in America. And the list goes on. If you look at the Japanese stuff, you got like the Mecha series. It's tough because I'm trying to think of all this stuff, and there's a lot of different mecha out there. But you get it. Mecha is definitely huge, especially in Japan, but it's huge in the world now too because it started to spread slowly. We saw mecha type of variants, at least in certain terms of cartoons and even TV shows. Like in many ways, Power Rangers has mecha elements to it because it has characters that go into giant robots to fight. There's SSS Gridman, which was known in America as like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And I always butcher that name, so I apologize in advance if I kind of butchered it. But mecha is pretty big. It's probably one of the more genres that's known universally. Like even if you don't really watch anime a lot, and you're one of those people, it's like, what anime do I watch? I've seen Gundam, or I've seen that type of show. It's usually one of those things that you most likely have seen or at least heard of a mecha anime. Usually Gundam is the most well known though. Now, today, though, we are talking about two series that I truly love. They are my favorite series in terms of mecha. No, it's not Darling the Frank. I love Darling the Frank. It's not my favorite. Gurren Lagann is amazing. No, it's not my favorite. It's known by every single human being in the world, it seems like, that watches anime. Those aren't the ones. Razafon is a runner-up because Razafon is amazing. I love it. I've rewatched Razafon probably like 10, 12 times. I kid you not, I'm serious. I've rewatched that whole show like 10 or 12 times. Love Razafon. I watch it like every 2 or 3 years. I rewatch it. I have the DVD series for it. I wish they'd make it on Blu-ray. They should make it on Blu-ray. But I'm talking about two particular series. We have the first one being Valvarave. Now, Valvarave is made by Sunrise, since people make Gundam. And Valvarave is one of those shows that, to me, does everything that I want in a mecha. Now, if you guys don't know, I go by a very simple concept of how I enjoy mecha. It has to have 3 elements. 3 elements specifically for me to enjoy it. Otherwise, I really don't get into it. Number 1, has to have a good story. I don't care if it's mecha. I know the whole point is giant robots slamming into each other to make, giant sparks and explosions happen on the street. I get that. It's like the action genre of movies. But I want more than that. I want a good story. I want characters that I can get with in terms of, just understanding, getting immersed in them. Feeling like I understand their lives from more of just oh, they enter a giant robot, become a pilot, and now we're the best character in the world. No, I don't want that. I want more than that. Like Valvarave does have that little tropey element that's like, oh, things happen and then he goes into a mecha to start it up and becomes like an instant great pilot. But there's a concept for it, a reason for it. I also have to have animation. Animation for mecha is very important. Some animation for mecha, especially the older series, don't look that great now. They're very hard to watch. Like, I've rewatched Voltron, the original Voltron. I'm talking about the Netflix one. Voltron Netflix is great. It's awesome. I don't know if I really anime, but many people consider it, at least the newer one anime. So, it is what it is. But Voltron, the original one, was very, very old. You watch it now, you could tell the animation for that is old. So it's a little harder for me to get into it now. Like, I love it still. I still have a very close place in my heart for it. But I can't love it as much as I used to, unfortunately. It's more of a nostalgic type thing where I love it for nostalgia purposes, and I have the nostalgia glasses that remind me so vividly of me watching with my dad, and it makes me like, if I really delve into it, the thought process, I get a little teary because I remember always watching with my dad. We still sometimes rewatch some of the old Voltron just because we can. I own I want to say the first 3 seasons on Blu-ray, or actually DVD. But it's old. Gigantor, very old. It's very hard to watch. Gigantor is black and white. It looks old. It is very corny. It's very goofy. So it's like, that's animation wise for those shows is a little harder. Can't get to them anymore. And then finally, one of the more important things to it is the mecha themselves. Now, Mecha, always have this very unusual concept where they always want to try to go humanoid shapes. And I like that. I think that's kind of cool. It makes sense. It's supposed to be a giant robot. It's supposed to be a giant, like, humanoid figure. But I like the shows that really boost up that look to them. Like, Darling of the Franxx made them look human almost in many ways. You have, Gundam series where they have, like, really cool designs for these characters. Even they are obviously mechs. They are obviously giant robots. But they have really cool designs, like, in Gundam especially, you have, like, my favorite Gundam Wing has probably some of the coolest ones. I love Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms was, for me, like, one of my favorites. Wing Zero Custom, where he had the angel wings, loved that. I had a model kit of that. I built it, like, in one day. I loved it. I had it displayed nicely on my shelf way back when I was a kid. Accidentally dropped it, broke, so, yeah, I was a little disappointed about that, but, it wasn't like the Master Grade series. Like, the Master Grade series, those things are very hard to break. The one I had was, I think, a lesser grade. It was meant to, like, be where anyone can make it. I also had, like, an action figure version of it, but it broke apart really easy if you played with it more than, like, 2 seconds. And I think one of the wings snapped off, and one of the hands broke. So, yeah, it's those Gundam toys were sometimes hit or miss. Not the models. The models are nice, but the toys were a little bit wonky. But the reason why I love Valvrave, and I won't get to a super long video because I feel like that if I spend, like, hours talking about it, no one's going to really watch this video. Valvrave, to me, is such a cool series. I mean, the main concept you guys don't know is this one guy ends up in a robot when his colony is attacked. And when he ends up inside this Valvrave, which is what it's called, he ends up learning that it makes him like a vampire in many ways. It gives him vampiric powers where he needs to suck on blood. He can actually transfer his body and his soul into another person's, but he can control that body and do whatever he wants with it. There's a whole different thing to it also that you learn later in the series. It's not really a spoiler, but there's a risk to using the Valvrave where it does harm you as time goes by in a very interesting and unique way. But the series is filled with greatness. Great music, great animation, great mecha designs, great story, great characters. Valvrave is, to me, perfection. I hate the ending. The ending is probably the only thing I hate about Valvrave. The ending's very meh. Like, it's not horrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world, but it's like one of those things that it just ends kind of abruptly because I feel like they didn't want to keep going with the series and decided, okay, we need an ending for this, let's do this. And it's like, I could have went for a little better. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. I wish more people talked about Valvrave. I've only met a handful of people that have seen Valvrave. Guys, check out Valvrave, okay? You don't have to buy the Aniplex version. The Aniplex version, this is $120 per each one. I was lucky I got them on sale. I got them on sale during a Right Stuff sale they had way back when. It was $60 for each one, so it was half off. So the whole series cost me $120, but these are expensive. Very, very expensive. There are 2 scenes, like I said, they're both on Blu-ray. They are awesome. It comes with the complete series. It also comes with art cards. Art cards are cool. I really don't think they're great. I wish less series would do art cards. I don't think they're that impressive, but it's a video for another time. Then we have another series I love, IGPX, which to me is one of those shows that I maybe only met 5 people that ever seen IGPX. I kid you not. To my knowledge, I don't know who's seen IGPX outside of like those 5 people. I almost wonder if like sometimes this show, like I wonder why this show wasn't as popular as it was, because this is really cool. So this is a concept where there are these racers that ride these giant mecha, and they have motorized abilities. They can go and drive almost, and they can also like attack each other. There's even a video game. I should have brought that out. It's in my closet right now, but there is a video game for PS2 IGPX. It's awesome. It's a very simple game where you're racing. You have to like go into transfer fighting modes, and it's really cool. But the series is awesome. I think it's 20 something episodes. This one comes with both the uncensored and the censored version. It has Haley Joel Osment, which if you guys don't know is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Mark Hamill's voice is in there, and even Michelle Rodriguez, who was very. That's a movie star we're talking. So all these people that did voice acting for this were actually movie stars. So English dub for this is pretty impressive. It's not the best English dub. Like those characters are very good. The ones that actually are characterized by people that are from those movies I just talked about. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. If you didn't know, which I'm pretty sure most people know who Mark Hamill is. But if it wasn't those main characters, some of the other voice actors were hit or miss here and there. But they did a great job. The main characters were freaking phenomenal in English. I originally watched IGPX on Toonami. There's actually on this DVD that I have right here, there is both the Toonami version and the uncut version. The uncut version is a little bit more violent, not very much, but there are times where their characters are a little bit more violent and kind of aggressive not shown in Toonami, obviously, because Toonami during the day was more for all ages. Now it's the Adult Swim version, so you get like the older, more mature shows, but not with IGPX. IGPX was like, they had to make it kid friendly, so it was kid friendly, but it's a teenager show, so you're not gonna get super amounts of violence. Don't expect blood everywhere and all that. But those are shows that I wish people talked about more about, because I actually love both of them. I think they're great mechas, and I'm actually gonna watch IPGPX. I actually have to do this video because I want to see it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm gonna do that. Actually, maybe not this video, but the next video. I want to do that. That's what I'm gonna do today. Anyways, here's my question for you guys and girls out there. What is a mecha series that you love that's not part of the main things of mecha? So that means it has to be a lesser known mecha. Now, I will put a little, I want to say, asterisk on this. You can't talk about a Gundam series, that's fine. But it has to be a Gundam series like MS-18, which, for example, is not as well known as the main ones. Like Gundam Wing's well known, G Gundam's very well known. I don't want to hear about those. I know about those. You know, for example, what's another one I could think of? I'm trying to like stretch in my mind. Gurren Lagann. Yes, everyone knows about it. Don't talk about it. I get it. It's a phenomenal series. It's a 10 out of 10 series. I love Gurren Lagann. But I want to know about some of the stuff that you've seen that's the lesser known, the ones that have like been only heard of by a select few, or at least for you, you've barely heard anyone talk about. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. Have a great and wonderful day. I will see you for day 7, which will come out tomorrow, obviously. God bless you all. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.